Hello, my name is Gerri McCritty, multi-disciplinary artist. Welcome to PAVAA Gallery. So I would specifically like to get into these pictures here. I call all three of these, which is a set series, The Doors of No Return. And my inspiration from these pictures came from when I visited the slave dungeons in Ghana, West Africa. So, if you can please zoom in on this first piece here. As you can see, this piece has a skeleton in the top part, and I would like for you to focus on the light and the footsteps. And that's what these paintings are all about for me, shining a light on the footsteps of the many souls that walk through the doors and that were captured for slavery. So these footsteps represent, if you can switch here to number 2, if you can zoom in a little, you see these footsteps. And I concentrated on doing a lot of pattern and details on the walls, which is the same for this picture. If you can zoom in, these are the footsteps. And if you zoom in closer, you're gonna see the slave ship at that door. So the whole focus of these 3 pictures is around the doors of no return. And this is where all the slaves were captured. And I wanted to capture everything that I felt when I was in this dungeon. And it was very emotional. It was an emotional process. And what I did, how I came to create this was I chose the colors that remained in my head from visiting these dungeons. And at first going in, it was all black and white to me, you know, and it looked like something you did not want to go into, but you were forced to go into. So then once we went in there, I shined the light on the female dungeons. And if you look further, you'll see steps going that way, and that's the way to the male dungeons. But I stayed in the female dungeons, and all the texture and stuff on the wall, it stems from all the smells, because there were smells there were handprints, there was blood, there was feces, that stench, it was still in that room. So I wanted this picture to depict that. And moving on to this picture, this is where the cold bumps came on I kind of got cold bumps when I walked this hallway here, which all I saw was red because people were fighting. They didn't want to get on the ship there. You could barely see it, but it was there. My process for doing this was I chose my colors. I worked a little bit at my studio at home. And then I worked a little bit at the gallery because for me, it was the different lights. When I wanted something dark, I worked at home because my home is a little darker. When I wanted to see more light, I brought it here to the gallery to do more work here at the gallery. That helped me to focus on the light. And that's basically how I work. I kind of rotate. I don't work on just one piece per se. I like to work on maybe 2 to 3 different pieces at the same time. And this is the doors of no return. Basically, this was done acrylic on canvas. Another piece I would like to concentrate on that's very special and dear to my heart, as you can see I'm wearing the t-shirt too, is this piece I call The Day We Paused, which had to do with COVID. And if you zoom the cameras in a little bit, or out, whichever way works, you see the pause button. And then you see the pause button with the people behind. So this is what I saw the day we shut down. It was like we paused in our tracks. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know how to move forward. We didn't want to panic, but then we were left with blank. We didn't know what to do moving forward. And that's where this piece comes in. It kind of fades away into whiteness. We didn't know what to do. I remember that day when I stopped in my tracks, it was like, oh, okay. And I just felt, I had a feeling of like, it was just questionable. I was like, okay, what do we do now? You know, because this is like fighting an unseen enemy. So we were all left from boy, girl, dog, animals, which I should have put some in this picture after I thought about the animals, but I left my animal friends out. But anyway, yeah. So the way I approached this picture was, I like mixing my paint with different kinds of materials. And lately I've been drawn to working with salt. And the reason why I like working with salt, because salt has many, many properties to it that we don't know of. We just think about it as eating food. But besides that, for me, salt has many, many meanings. And one of the special meanings of salt for me is it takes away all negative energy. It draws stuff away. So that's where I was inspired to do this piece with salt, because in my mind, I wanted it to draw the negative energy of the COVID virus away. So, and I wanted to keep it simple. I'm a simple person, so I just wanted to do this in a simple black and white version, because that's what I felt at the time. It felt like the world was black and white. And we didn't know where to go and what to do. And the simpleness is just people standing up in their tracks, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to think going forward. And how I did this work was I started at home in my home studio, and then that was for the darkness part, because COVID was really, really dark. And then I wanted to add a little bit of lightness in there, and that's where the salt, and if you look at this side of the picture, it's a little lighter than this side. So that contrast where a darker side and a lighter side, that lighter side meant to me, okay, holding on to the hope that we're going to be able to move forward. And I wanted to do this big. I wanted to do it on a large canvas, which in my opinion, this size canvas fit. And this is just acrylic, salt, mixed in acrylic on canvas. So, this piece is a continuation of the Day We Pause series. And I call this piece A Mystical Night. So that night, after we got the shocking news of the shutdown, and I was contemplating, do I stay inside? Do I go outside? So, I just looked through my windows that night, And I did get in the car and take a little drive. I drove on the Susquehanna, by the river, looked at the mountains. You know, those are the kind of stuff I like to do. It gives me inspiration. And I realized while driving that night, nobody was out. It was so foggy, and the clouds had some kind of weird formation. And my mind focused on the mountains because the mountains were peaceful. And I said, okay, you know, I just said to myself that night while driving, this is so peaceful, but then yet eerie. So that drove me to come back home that night and just briefly sketch out the mountains. And from sketching out the mountains, that kind of inspired me and gave me the vision to add the clouds that I thought were just there, like mystical and airy, and everything just looked so black and white and still. So that's where the inspiration for this picture comes from. This is done on canvas, and this is just acrylic, black and white. And this is the last of this series I call People Hold On. And if you zoom in, you can see little circles and squares. The circles and squares represent an African Adinkra symbol. The circle represents the female, and the square represents the male. And this is done in tree branch format. But the tree branch format I wanted it to be made to look like people. Because when I see the trees, I'm a tree lover. I see people. Same thing with the skies. Same thing with everything on Mother Earth. Everything I look at, I see people. Because we're all linked to Mother Earth. So this was very special to me to do this in the tree branch format with different geometrical shapes, because the world is round. We all have different geometrical shapes all surrounded around us. And this was also done with salt. So it's basically the same procedure that I used to create this piece mixed with salt and acrylic mixed together. Again, for the same reasons. The fact that the salt draws, it gives good energy. Salt is very good. We can't eat too much of it, but it has other good uses and purposes. So this one I call People Hold On. And this came to me after experiencing all what we were going through during the COVID period. And I'm a woman of hope. And I'm a woman of peace and people and respecting human life, whether white, whether black. We're human. And we may have different colors, but if you look inside of me and you look inside of you, out of the color's the same. The blood is the same red. So that's the energy I took from in myself to present on this canvas here. People hold on. Whether you're black, whether you're white, we hold on. Because we all suffer the same suffering. Suffer is suffer. And we were suffering at that time because our whole livelihoods were just taken away from us.
So I noticed that for this one, it consists of 2 panels. It's
Yes.
like 2 paintings side by side.
Yes.
What were your thoughts about that?
Because this disease was worldwide. So this panel represents one part of the world, and the other panel represents one part of the world, wherever you lived. But we all experienced this together, even though it was worldwide. But we all went through the same experience and still going through. So that's why this was in 2. And I tend to do that in my work sometimes. I will create a two-piece work or three-piece work, maybe sometimes a four-piece work. It depends on where my spirit is taking it and where I feel my ancestors are talking to me inside and my God of where to take it. Because I follow those. It's very important for me to follow those feelings that I feel from my God and my Almighty and my ancestors.
Can these two panels be sold separately?
They cannot. You know, bottom line is they cannot. Sorry. And this last piece I would like to focus on is a piece that I did that was commissioned by Music for Everyone, John Gerri, in Lancaster. They have a wonderful program going on, and I'm always willing to do anything John Gerri asks of me. This piece here was Ruth Bader Ginsburg inspired, with an African print touch, because this happened, this came to me around the time she died. And there was so much going on, you know, that time. And this was very special to me because I'm a child advocate, and I just thought about our boys and girls, you know, around the time we were experiencing the racial justice going on with the Black Lives Matter. So I was inspired to do this piece because I thought on our children. You know, our children are going through all of this. And all they want, because I work with kids and I see what they want. I see their, you know, I'm touched by their little inner selves. And all they want is to be happy and have equal treatment just like everybody else. So if you zoom in, this color here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's touched with gold. And the reason why I wanted to use gold is because children are like gold. And their hope for tomorrow is like gold. So it's like, okay, our Father, our Heavenly Father, it was a prayer. Please continue to shine your golden light on our kids, on their journey to the fight to save us as the Black race. Because it always feels like they're trying to, racial justice, the stuff we're going through is like they want to get rid of the Black race. But you can't. And then the boys, the little boys I focused on. And all they want is equal justice for all. I talked to them many times, and the many ones I've hung around, and that's what they talk about. When I grow up, I want to be this. When I grow up, I want to be that. So it's like you want to give these kids the hope, and you want to continue giving them the hope and kind of shield them from what's going on in the world today with this forever fight for equality and racial justice. Because these children, they're our hope for tomorrow, whether Black, whether white. And this is my way of showing the hope for tomorrow. This piece is titled, Our Hope for Tomorrow, Boy, Girl. Okay, this one I call Natural Life Transformed. He, she. This is found objects from the tree branch and a gourd. And this represents the transformation from one representation to another, while at the same time remaining as one.
and we are the partners of PAVAA Gallery.
We would like to thank Demuth for inviting us to put this gallery tour together, and we thank you, the viewers, for watching it.